we talked about '97, which is being honored this week, and you're part of the team, but you really didn't, if I remember correctly, didn't play in the Super Bowl.
No.
But in 1998, you're serving that role again, and then suddenly you're the starting quarterback.
Yeah, which is different, especially when you go through a whole year behind John, and then the next year John and I were roommates, and you see the kind of person John is and what it takes to be that kind of quarterback, and you always want to be, but then you figure out, well, hey, you know what? It's okay just being me and not being that guy, because those guys are super special. They have the it factor and they're class of their own. But when John did get hurt, it just puts that much more pressure on you, not to be the weak link on the team. And I'd wake up in the night and flip through my playbook, and I'm like, what am I doing? I know this. And I just did not.
A little paranoid, huh?
I didn't want to fail. And it wasn't my parents, it wasn't my wife, it wasn't me, my kid. I didn't want to let John Elway down, because I knew what it meant for him. If we got to the playoffs and I didn't hurt us or lose any games, and we got to the playoffs, we were going to have another chance to win two.
That offense was full of Hall of Famers. Zimmerman and guys on the cusp of the Hall of Fame, Nalen and Shannon Sharp and Rod Smith and Elway and Terrell Davis. So when Shanahan and Kubiak came to you and handed you the keys to the Cadillac, what'd they say?
Oh, well, that's Sharp says all that. Don't wreck the Ferrari. That's BS. I'll put the gas pedal down. I mean, when have I ever played with players like that? I'm not going to go out there and play half speed. I have nothing to lose. Let's get it.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
Was the offense simplified at all during that period of time?
You know what? And I hear people saying that, and the guys that are hurt, and Tony Romo's hurt now, and the backups are playing. And absolutely it is, because you don't get to practice. You're not practicing the whole year. You're not practicing all week. And John got hurt 2 times. Like, I played 2 weeks, and I was out.
Yeah.
I was back on the bench and scout team again. So, yes, Kubiak would come to me and say, Bubby, what do you like when we're in this formation? And maybe I ran more bootlegs and more quarterback draws and stuff that John would have. But if somebody tells you no, and you need the backup knows the whole offense, and we have the whole game plan in, all that, that's bull crap.
Did Shannon try and take advantage of the fact that you were playing instead of John? Did he come to you every play and say, I'm open, get me the ball?
They're all open. But you know what, on our team, they were open. They were on. We had some great players.
Were you were you of the belief at that point, and I've talked to Mike Shanahan about this, Gary Kubiak was on a fast track to be head coach in this league. Was there something special? Because you were working with him every day. He was a quarterback's coach and basically the offensive coordinator, although Shanahan, sort of like Kubiak is today, really called the plays. But what did you see in Gary Kubiak that's put him in the place where he is today?
What I saw in Gary, and one reason that we were so successful too with Mike, and Mike was the mastermind, obviously, but Kub just had that demeanor where he was smart, he was a play ahead. And he could understand what, like when I got to play, he could understand how my demeanor was and what plays to help me with and what to tell Mike to do. He just had that ability to be aggressive but be a play ahead. And you could just tell the way he coached our offensive meetings that he was on the way to be a head coach.
And like you, and you had a lot of starts in your career, and you were a starting quarterback for years. But he had spent his entire career as a backup quarterback. So could the two of you sort of identify with watching the game from the sideline?
We could. And if I'd have got drafted by the Broncos, I'd have been a backup quarterback my whole career too.
So are those feelings stronger, even though you really helped propel the Broncos to the second Super Bowl? And there was a lot of us who thought, and I know I wrote at the time, that you should take over as the quarterback, and there were indecisions. You know about that through the exhibition season. Yep. And Mike made the decision to go with Brian Creasy. The team fell off to 6-10.
Kind of had the rug pulled out from under you.
Yeah. It was different. Now, granted, I didn't play that well in preseason, but who's ever lost their job in preseason when you're penciled in as a starting quarterback? Not very many people. Now, Mike and I have talked since then, and hey, we had a knockdown drag out there for a while. I think Mike drafted Brian Creasy and foresaw him being the guy to take over.
Sort of like he did with Jay Cutler later when he replaced.
And so I understand all that now, but then I didn't, and I had great rapport with our players and respect because we'd won so many games the year before, and
And it was your last best chance to start for an NFL team, too, wasn't it?
And with the best players in the world.
Right.
So I was very disappointed. And now I understand why. And there was a bunch of stuff said about me, and then I said stuff about Mike. But we buried the hatchet. A lot of egos were going on
in
at
each
the
other's
time.
head, or
no?
You going to the party at his house this weekend?
I am going to
All
Mike's
right, so evidently the hatchet isn't buried. Don't go anywhere. That segment brought to you by John Elway Cadillac.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.